Everybody, happy Sunday. Hi, Pamela. Hope you're doing well. Hope it's a nice day for you. We've got about 8 minutes, everyone, until we get started with our detox practice tonight. And tonight's practice, we're going to do something that we haven't done yet. We'll explore the practice. I know a lot of you have been moving through the practice without music voluntarily, but there won't even be the option for music tonight. So um, we're going to go with a silent guided meditation and detox practice this evening. So don't worry about having your extra phone or your iPad or whatnot for the playlist. That is, unless I guess you could stream any other playlist. That'd be fine if you just really don't want to do it without music. But if you would like to join the invitation to practice without music tonight, that will be how I'm guiding it. Valeria, good evening. Hi, Emily. How's everyone doing tonight? I know there's a lot happening, a lot of energy in the world, a lot of energy moving through us, and I'm sure there's a lot going on within all of your minds and simultaneously within your hearts. Let's make sure you guys can hear me okay. I'm just going to double check my audio. Anybody that's on, let me know if you're getting any of those robot noises or if it sounds okay on your end. Hey, Chandrea. Hope you're doing well. Terry, Ari, we're back in the space. I hope you had a nice practice. Thanks for your message. I'm glad you picked up a class. I hope everybody was able to pick up a class. I apologize that I didn't do the live class today at 10 a.m., but I did try to put a quick little videos from my phone. But I just wanted to let you guys know that we were, kind of in the process of just taking care of our other baby. We have our son Benjamin, as you all know, but our other baby is our studio, and she had some energy swirl through her last evening. So I want to thank all of you that have reached out and everybody that stopped by. It was nice to see everybody and everybody that helped out cleaning up the space and all of that. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Everything is okay. We're okay. This is a powerful movement that we're living in right now. And the best thing we can do, I think, is, not the best thing we can do is be on our mat, but something that we can do for ourselves this evening is to be on our mat and practice the keen awareness around listening. So we'll see how this goes. We'll hold the space for the practice, of course. But if you have any questions, anything that you're feeling or you want to put out there on the live chat, I am certainly open to that. Andre, Sasha, hope you guys are well. Roz, thank you. Holding space for you. The beauty you guys will notice when we're practicing together, there's always this reciprocity, right? That which I can do for you, you will do for me, and we can do that for everybody. So, we're talking about all beings. We have our little microcosm of beings that we get together here in our yoga classes, but the world is a big place, and there's a lot of people out there. Thanks, Terry. Hey, Reese. Hope you're well. Brad, Anya. Reese asking what happened to the studio. So as part of I think everybody's heard, or maybe if you're not in LA, you didn't heard because I I don't hear necessarily unless I go out and seek the information from other parts of this country. But last night there was or yesterday afternoon, there's a peaceful protest in one of the parks that's probably like a mile and a half away from the studio. And I heard, and some of you that came by and were sharing the experience, and Chandrea, the things that you posted, I heard that it was beautiful, it was powerful, it was cathartic, and you could really feel the essence and the energy of the protest. And as the evening went on, uh, these things, they're you just don't know where it's going to go. And there's, like I said, lots of different energies and feelings and whatnots. Anyways, long story short, it did become more and more violent, and the energy in many parts of Los Angeles, specifically around the studio, turned into looting. So I had a camera on my phone, and you can kind of see it, and people were texting, and it was getting closer to the studio. So I was watching the camera, and at 9:45 last night, I was watching, and I saw the whole thing, and the folks break through. So they came in, they looted the space, and that energy, like I said, it swirled around. I watched it, and you just kind of course, you're gonna feel that there's somebody entering your space. But what we're doing is sharing the space. And when I talk about holding space for all things, it doesn't really surprise me that we would be a part of this collective energy. I'd say that as we went into the studio this morning, while things are stolen and things are gone, these are things, and everybody is safe. And I was looking around at the way that the people moved through, and I was like, there was something definitely going on. Maybe we're a yoga studio, but it could have been much more destructive, and it was probably based on what I've seen, more of the mindful looting side. So maybe, and I'm sure all of the energy that we put into the space now, this doesn't mean that we sit here in this moment, and again, we talk about this stuff all the time. Anything can happen. So when I say holding space for anything, and you're allowed to feel anything and bring anything with you into the studio, I mean, that's what it's there for. It's just a portal, for energy and people to come in, and for it to process, and it's going to hold that space without judgment. So, it happens to be my teacher, based on these events and what's going on in the world right now. So I offer all of that space to you, and to listen and to feel where you're at this evening, with your body, with your breath. We got a detox, and so we'll have a plenty of opportunities to connect to our meditation. So again, thank you everybody that showed up, that messaged. But the studio is okay. She's resting tonight. She's quiet right now, and what the future holds, we'll see. So, Bri Rai, good evening. Good evening. Hi, Woni. Nicole, hope you're doing well. Derek, thank you so much again for helping out this morning. I was getting to the studio early, and I was like, who's going to be awake right now? So, Derek will be awake. So I texted Derek. Biz, hope you're well. Hi, Asher. Debo, good evening. All right, you guys. So as I mentioned before, no guided music. If it's up to you, if you must stream a playlist from your Spotify from one of our previous detoxes, you're welcome to do that. But I don't prefer to kind of wing it energetically, and haven't or didn't have time to put together a playlist, so I wouldn't just put on an old playlist just for the sake of having music. So this is where we are. If you're willing to join me without a playlist tonight, I encourage you to do that. And when you're ready, go ahead and lie down onto your back. I hope you can hear me clearly. Hope we can take some time to process and to feel and to ground ourselves. And when we're listening, things may become a little bit more clear. But let's not only hold the space in the way that we think we should be holding the space, but let's really hold the space when we talk about this and understand, the gravity. It's a great word for detox when you're feeling it in your body, but the gravity, that even if, our neighborhood and the studio is not experiencing certain things tonight, that this wave and this movement continues to flow. Like I was saying, it's very, very powerful, and it's changing the conversation. And I hope you guys can feel that and experience that in your lives. PJ, welcome back, and thank you so much for your help today. Tay, Bo, nice to see you. And once you're on your back, if you'd like to pat anything underneath your head or use your block pillow, you're welcome to do that. Release your legs long, let your big toes fall out. Separate your heels maybe a little bit wider, and then relax your arms down by your sides. And close the eyes as you land on your mat this evening. And feel a few deeper, bigger breaths. And rise and fall through your belly, weight into your shoulders. And simply consider, if we've been living in the shadow, if we've been living in the darkness, that, every time there's this breakdown element, like I talk about in your body, you're breaking it down and then you're building it back up. So first we have to be able to see and acknowledge the truth of what the shadow is. If you're not willing to see the truth of what the shadow is, then the tendency is that we'll remain in that darkness, and you'll get used to operating and functioning and participating in this world in that darkness. But if you're open to it and you acknowledge it, you could start to break down or chip away at that darkness and put yourself with your conscious mind into the forefront, and where it becomes a little bit brighter. And these aren't necessarily incremental steps that I'm talking about. When you're talking about the spectrum of light, it's more like a sliding scale. So we find ourselves moving and sliding from one end to the other, and then it's variable. It's variable based on where you are. It's variable based on what you do and what you believe. And so I ask you tonight to really check in and see where you are right now. And let your breath settle in your body right now. And when you believe you've settled, go ahead and settle even more. And release the belly and the hips and the back right now. If you have something under your head, a pillow or a block, please go ahead and slide that out. And let your head come all the way down onto the mat. And then bring your legs together, soles of your feet. Bend your legs and so they come flat onto the mat, please. Take your left ankle onto your right thigh. So it's a figure 4 with your left leg. And if your outer hips are really bound up in the grip, This is it. Rest your hands on your belly. And relax your shoulders, reset your head. If you're not feeling anything in your outer left hip yet, reach through, interlace the fingers behind your right hamstring. Cross through your knuckles. And keep your hips heavy and square, and then bring your shoulders and your head back down onto the ground. So we're in Supine Pigeon or Reclining Hero. And so remember that first step of, breaking down or breaking through on that spectrum and of light is to acknowledge and to be honest with where you are. We're really good at bullshitting ourselves, everyone. Our minds telling ourselves what we'd like to hear. With your hands interlaced on the back of the leg, and you might feel some secondary traction and space being created in your shoulder joints, in your elbows, in your wrists, and your fingers. And rather than fighting if your grip is slipping, and just re-grip so that your knuckles cross through your knuckles. And then if you just kind of squeeze the fingers together, the knuckles will hold the hands in place. And we'll be here for a while. Soften your breath and relax your jaw. And if it feels okay, you can relax and close your eyes tonight. Reminder for our practice tonight, and really listen. If your head is loud and the noise is great, then listen to that. If your body's yearning, your hips are yelling, listen. If your heart is open, and there's a bit of joy or song coming from your heart, listen to that. And let's take one more minute on this side. Keep your eyes closed as you observe your exhalation and begin to soften and release your grip. Right foot comes back down onto the mat. Uncross your left ankle. And please go ahead and slide both legs long. And feel your hips, feel your belly. And low back, middle spine up to your shoulders. And as you settle, release and relax your jaw, the muscles inside of your mouth. You notice the stillness here and ride a few of these beautiful waves moving through you. And perhaps with less conversation and just more feeling of the energy as it rolls through your body. When you're ready, no rush. And begin to bend your legs so that your feet come back flat onto the mat. And take your right ankle to your left thigh so you make a figure four. And hands can rest on your belly. This could be enough. If you're feeling the stretch in your outer right hips at your shoulders, soften through the neck. And if you'd like a little bit more, reach your right hand through. Interlace the fingers on the back of your left hamstring, please. Knuckles through knuckles. And let your shoulders and your head and come back heavy onto the ground. So we're back in that effect of the gravitational force. And surrendering our bodies and our minds into gravity and its weight. Yeah, I said last night in the practice, and I'll reiterate it tonight, and saying, how many people do you think are practicing yoga or any style of yoga or meditation right now? How many of us collecting in this way and honoring in the space and that portal of all energy to flow through us more freely, so you don't have to hold on to it and make it something and that your mind wants it to be. the shoulders and the hips heavy, and belly and your jaw soft. We'll stay for about 1 more minute. If you got all those feelings and aches and tingles in your hands and your arms, stay with it. And sometimes you'll find in these moments, even though they're not necessarily easy, and where your mind says, I wish I could, stay here. Appreciation for, the openness and the expansion. And at the end of your exhale, you can start to soften your grip. If you're holding on to your leg, and release your left foot back down onto the mat. Uncross your right leg and feel the sensations as you straighten your legs, coming back out into Shavasana. Arms by your sides or hands on your belly, whichever feels better. And feel the release, maybe a little sigh, exhale, shoulders ground. And let your chin soften in. And if you're still getting used to practicing with silence, a really great place to observe is when you're going to bed at night and there's about a minute where your mind is still conscious right before you fall asleep. And that's kind of what it feels like here. And take your arms over your head, give yourself a big evening stretch. And point your toes, stretch out through your fingertips, and hold the stretch. You make it as long as you can. Open your mouth, might feel good to yawn. And bend your legs so that your feet are flat. And roll onto your right side. And make your way, come around so you're in a tabletop. Once you come into your tabletop, bring your knees together. Separate your feet apart. And you might want to start with your block or a pillow, part of your stack in between your feet. So knees together and feet apart. Anything, if you find it tight in the knees or in the hips, to sit straight down onto the mat, then use a prop so that you can feel a sensation around your knees, perhaps in your ankles and your outer hip flexors. But you're able to rest in a neutral spine, head above your heart. Hands can rest in your lap with your palms facing up. And keep your chin centered, and then go ahead and close your eyes. you're feeling, shuttered or closed off a bit, then it can be nice here to, trust the process, and the shoulders drop away from your ears, the chest, and begins to reverse the effect, and from tightness, and the jaw can settle. And remember, we're not manipulating the breath in any way. We're letting it be as natural as possible. In the mindfulness meditation, observing the air as it comes into your body and the air as it goes out of your body. It's not easy sometimes, and to really cultivate your patience. Sit in the breath, sit in what you're feeling, and pay attention with observation into the wisdom of your mind, of things that pop up in your mind during your practice. Alright, roll a breath through, soften your chin as you exhale, bring your eyes back into the space gently. And you can feel, pay attention, as the flow comes back into your knees, start to lift your hips up. You can separate your knees, stagger them a little bit wider. And if you had a block or a pillow in between your feet, reach through with your right hand and slide it all the way up to the top of your mat. And take the length of your block across your mat, step your right foot to the outside of your block or your object. Turn your front foot out on a 45-degree angle, and then rather than keeping the foot flat where your big toe is down, start to rock into the pinky toe side of your foot so the big toe actually rolls off the mat, and you're lifting the sole of your foot, your knee falls out. And you're going to be able to slide your left knee back probably a little bit further than if we had the foot flat, and then you can either start on your hands or come down onto your forearms, either on a block or all the way down onto the mat. And shoulders are relatively square, so for balance purposes, it's either the hands or the elbows and that are supporting you, and you're welcome to release the head, so the muscles in the front of the neck let go, the muscles on the back of the neck get longer. And take at least the first minute and with the arm position that you're in right now. And we'll have opportunities to go deeper and wake up the body a little bit more, feel some sensations perhaps that you haven't felt in a while.
not necessarily be easy, but when you start to acknowledge in your mind and what's taking place, we stop then making excuses or running from, what is and what we see. And so I hope you can feel the support of the pose. The pose creates the support. And stillness becomes one of your teachers. And then that opens up this arc energy within the pose, and for us all to become better listeners, for us to, awaken. That's basically what I'm saying. And when I'm talking about becoming a better listener, I'm talking about awakening. And say your forearms are on a block or on the stack. If you want to go down for the last minute, you're welcome to slide that stack away and then bring both of your forearms down onto the mat. You're still on that pinky toe side of your front foot. You drop your head, chin gets closer into your chest. All right, notice the achiness and the sensation start to make your way back to your hands. From your elbows, keep your head heavy. And you might really feel this one tonight. Slide your right foot back. And make your way onto all fours. And feel that release your outer hip crease. And give yourself a little wag through your tail side to side. And then we'll go ahead and settle the hips back to the heels. Your little child's pose, come down onto your forearms. Nothing too active here. Let the belly soften over the thighs. And then feel that down your right leg. And observe the difference in feelings through your left leg. Feel your hips, feel your spine. Begin to roll yourself back up to all fours. And when you get to all fours, take a deepest breath in. Open your mouth, sigh, exhale all the air out. And if you have your stack or your block, bring it back to the middle of your mat. And step your left foot to the outside of your block or your stack. And turn that left foot out 45 degrees. And then roll it off to the pinky toe side edge. And make any adjustments with your right knee sliding back. Any adjustments with your stack coming forward, and then lower down onto your forearms, please. If the forearms don't work straight away, then start on your hands. Take the energy of strength out of your shoulders. The key is rolling off to the pinky toe side edge. And that's the main setup for this pose, or the version of this pose that we're doing tonight. And just like we talk about versions of ourselves, the evolution within the mind, and based on the realizations that you have during your practice, during your life, one in the other, or two in the same. You are more than welcome to stay right where you are. If you'd like to go all the way down, forearms to the ground for the last minute, slide your stack out. And relax the jaw. Feel the head release. And enjoy the space, everyone. And keep your head heavy, please. Slowly begin to bring yourself back to your palms. And most of your attention is in the sensation on your left hip and through your legs, so move it slowly as you slide your left knee back into a tabletop. It might feel good to take a deeper breath in here with a little sigh. Move your hips a little bit and from one side to the other. And let's take the bum back to the heels and come into a more of a passive child's pose. So your forearms ground and belly softens over your thighs and then your forehead and comes down. This child's pose might feel a little bit deeper. And now that you've done both legs, let it rest. Very important. Our bodies are busy, our minds are busy, our lives are busy, and to let it all rest. Let it be. And start to roll it back up through your spine. Come onto your knees, come onto your hands. Take a breath in, feel the space in your chest and your shoulders and your neck, and then exhale, sigh, release all the air from your body. Crawl your knees forward a little bit, and then lean off onto your left hip, and bring your legs around in front. And once you bring your legs in front, sit cross-legged so your right ankle or shin is in front of your left. And take your forearms out in front of your shins, so when the arms rest towards the front of your knees or the front of your shins, it's going to allow you to feel supported
in the neutral stack of your spine. If this is really tight in your hips still, it's okay, don't judge it, but you can put something underneath your bum and to tilt your pelvis, and so that you can explore the setup into a lighter, into a taller spine. Now that you're a bit more unwound, take a deeper breath, fill your lungs, soften the eyes, reach your arms out in front of you, and then begin to crawl your fingertips further away, keeping your sitting bones rooted heavy into the mat as you stretch the arms out. And feel the expansion to your bum and to your outer hip space at your sacrum. And then you can let the hands rest and the chin releases into your chest. And let's keep our bodies in this forward fold, but for the last third, and just slide your arms back. And so you no longer have your hands to hold you up. And the shoulders turn in. And so the top of your hands are resting down on the ground. And the upper part of your arm is resting on your thigh. And soften the neck, release the throat, and listen.
All right, bring your left hand back out in front, and then your right hand. Close the eyes, and slowly begin to crawl your hands back in towards you. And it's going to bring us back into a neutral, a stacked and lighter spine as you feel the release in your hips. Your bum can settle. And with your arms bent, place the back of your wrists on the inner knees so that your palms face up. Listen. And you've been inside for quite some time, so go ahead and open your eyes. You notice if the shade of light has changed from when we started our practice. And take your view towards an object. See if it's a little bit more clear and crisp on the edges. And take your hands by your hips and then slowly transition. So we bring the left ankle and shin in front of the right. And it's not a big change. And then as you switch the cross of the legs, find your sitting bones. And we straighten the arms to start. So the forearms. And tack into the front of the shins. You feel a wave of the breath roll from your belly, up through your spine, into your chest, back down through your shoulders. Unfurl your brow. Be with the energy of your practice. And what you're contributing, what everybody is contributing, and let all of the energy in the world run through you right now. And start to walk the hands forward. And keep your sitting bones heavy. So the weight of the arms, the connection of your hands. And that'll get you set, and you'll feel in the outer hips all the awakening, all the opening that you've done thus far. And through your postures, and then ears can drop and settle in between your shoulders or in between your biceps. keep the head heavy in the pose, release the arms by your sides. And soften the shoulders so the back of your hands are on the mat. And biceps into your thighs. And it's a really good way to drop your head and yet also feel supported in the release of any tension, tightness, and that you are holding in your neck or the top of your shoulders. And observe 3 more breaths here. And slowly bring your left hand back out in front. And then bring your right hand in front. Head is heavy, use your hands and begin to walk them in. And you roll up 1 vertebra at a time. And feel the stack through your spine. Lightness, turn the back of your hands on your inner thighs, inner knees, palms face up. Indulge yourself through your awareness right now with balance, centeredness, and equality. Take a deeper breath and feel the release in your exhale. And you can bring your eyes back into the space. Again, notice the shade of light, the vividness of color, or the sharpness of an object. If you'd like to have something to drink that you have next to you, you're welcome. And then please go ahead and turn yourself around and to lie down onto your backs, and with your legs straight and your arms by your sides.
you're still making your way there, legs straight, arms by your sides, and then palm. And soften the eyes, relax your jaw. You can put a little space in between your lips. It might feel good to take a breath and a sigh or two. Notice the feeling and the connection of the back of your head into the ground. And let all the muscles from your forehead to your chin release and relax on your face. Continue to explore this adventure and journey of life, everybody. And we can place ourselves in the context of the practice and admit that we're always growing and we're always evolving. And we are that process and development of change. And when you start to feel and you start to notice and the waves of energy that are coming through you, and so built up through this awareness, and we can acknowledge where we are right now and become better listeners. You use the studio as an example, beautiful portal of energy that is willing to hold space for everything without judgment. I want to invite you all to remain here in your meditation for as long as you would like. I want to send everybody a wallop of love, a big hug. I hope that everybody feels and continues to, explore space and what that means for you in your practice, holding it, sharing it. And please stay safe and continue to wake up and support yourself and support each other. If you need anything, please reach out to me. You can reach out to each other. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow morning for our practice. And lots of light, everybody. And from our home and our hearts to yours, and to all the beautiful beings in this world. Thank you for your practice. Namaste.